Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Demetrius here again from OBPixel. Today I want to just talk to you about, it's a very short little video. I've been asked by many people to explain what kind of things that I do with regards to the kind of gear that I use, and when I do YouTube videos, or when I do sort of online training, when I do sort of team calls, that kind of thing. So I thought I would just break down some of the details. I'm just getting my system ready here for you guys, and just tell you the kind of stuff that I work with and give you an understanding of the kind of things that you can do without having to spend a lot of money. And you can actually have a great setup without having to spend more than, say, even webcams out there. Because the webcams are great if they're very expensive webcams, you know, the ones that are over £400, but, or $400, you know, but they're not really going to produce this kind of output that you see behind you. You know, where it's nice out of focus, great sharpness in the face, although I've toned down the sharpness, and you're not going to get that kind of thing with a webcam. So the current setup I'm going to show you is what I'm actually using right now to actually talk to you. I've just got a secondary copy I use for different view angles, and I've tried many companies. I've tried the Canon M50s, I've tried the Sony's A6400s and 6600s, all those things. I've tried so many other gear, even Fujifilm and all that, and in all honesty, I will always go back to Panasonic Lumix because I think they make incredible video cameras. You can even use your iPhones and your Android phones today. They're incredible for video, incredible, but then how do you turn them into things like webcams properly, not just via software? Well, yeah, this is where the trick is. So I'll show you a little device which is great, and it works, and it's really cheap, and it just, if you can get your hands on this, you can go to the secondhand stores. Like in the UK, you can use MPB, and in the States you can use KEH if you like. They're great sort of places to pick up used gear. And this is a Panasonic G7, a really tiny, little small Panasonic Lumix camera. It has a very cool sort of little flippy screen as well. Okay, so it handles that, the ability for you to do vlogging and that, and when you're done you can just put it away, which is quite easy. And then what I do is I combine this G7 with a Sigma 16mm f1.4. It's a great combination. You pop those together and you got yourself a tiny, small little setup, nothing too complex, tiny little setup, and it just works phenomenally well, especially with a Sigma f1.4 16mm, which effectively becomes double that, so it's like a 35mm, because Micro Four Thirds, you just double the crop sensor, so that you can, well, so you double the sensor because it's Micro Four Thirds, so double the full frame. So essentially this will be like a 35 in real terms, and it's phenomenal combination. And because this little camera plus the lens, like the camera you can probably get away with buying it used at like just over £100, $100. The lens you can probably pull one off with probably about the same, so roughly about $99, $110 or something, so that's close to £200 in total for the lot, which is still cheaper than a webcam. And then what you want to do is you want to combine that with an HDMI cable, because the Panasonic G7, for example, uses a micro HDMI, so it has the micro HDMI port on the side, and then the other side has got a full HDMI output. So it's got the full HDMI output there. And then what you want to do is you want to get an HDMI grabber. This cable is like £5. It was cheap. And then you want to get an HDMI grabber. So you take one of these little HDMI grabbing devices, okay, which takes an HDMI signal and turns it into like a webcam signal, and you plug that into your HDMI cable, and this goes into your computer either with a normal USB-A or with a USB-C quite easily. And then you don't need software, and your computer will recognize the camera as a webcam automatically. There's no need for software, and then you can benefit from the whole setup quite easily. And that setup alone is about just over £200. Pretty simple. You just get yourself a little microphone stand, a camera tripod, and then that'll be like £5–10 at the most. You don't want anything fancy because it's a very light camera. This is really light with the lens, the Panasonic G7. And then what you want to do is you got yourself a setup for far less than a webcam solution. Webcams could be over 400 if they're really good webcams. So you're going to get better results out of this. And the nice thing about the G7 from Panasonic Lumix is that It does clean HDMI out, which means you're not going to see all the screen settings and the lines and whatever and the focus points. It's clean HDMI, so it's perfect for video editing, video production like this. It's great for Teams and Zoom calls and all that. It just works. I don't need anything fancy. What I'm filming you on right now is the exact same setup. I just have a secondary copy of it. Then, the real trick to videos when it comes to YouTubing, Teams and all that is your microphone. You can have a subpar camera, and in fact you can use your mobile phones quite easily as cameras, and you can combine it with, you know, an HDMI cable. Your case will be a full HDMI cable with this HDMI grabber, and you can connect that particular phone camera into a tablet or a PC or a Mac machine quite easily without having to use software and manipulating, as you know, having a webcam as your phone or whatever, so that you don't need to go through software. You don't have to process the software. Let the camera do the work, and it'll work quite easily. I use it on my M4 iPad. I use it on my M1 iPads. I use it on my Android tablets. I use it on my computer, Mac machine as well. I use it on my Windows machine. It works fine as a webcam, perfectly fine. So you can use your phone as a webcam, no problem, but you do lose your phone, right? You lose the ability to use the phone at the time. Now, when you are filming though, like I said, the most important thing, like 80% of the actual video is actually your sound. And hopefully my sound sounds good. But there's many different microphones that you can purchase that are cheap. Like, here's an example of a little small Rode mic. It's a Rode Mini USB-C mic. It's fantastic. It's been around a long time. You can probably pick this up used for like £50, really cheap. And the great thing is it's USB-C, yes, with a microphone and headphones jack at the back. But it's got a beautiful button in the front that you press. And this will allow you to have incredible noise cancellation. It's a great mic. I used it for many years. It's still going today. It's just a mic that I keep as spare. And then you can always pop a nice little foam on top of that just to really harness the sound. The other thing you can also do is, and this is definitely one of my favorite mics, stunning, again, USB-C mic. It's unbelievable because it's pure hardware and it's great price. It's a little bit more expensive than, say, the Rode. I think this one used will be another £100. But Sennheiser makes incredible little microphones. And this is the Sennheiser Profile. Incredible mic because software is not needed. So USB-C at the back, absolutely not needed. And with a basically the RCA jack for the headphones. And what's really amazing about this is it's all button driven. The gain, the microphone, the full sound, and the mute button. This is probably one of the best mics I've ever heard. And it sounds pretty much the same as what you're hearing right now. Okay, pretty much the same. So this mic I used for a long time. And you can always pop a little foam on there, but this doesn't need it. This is an incredible mic. Sennheiser made a great mic here, the Sennheiser Profile USB-C, because the noise cancellation is unbelievable on that mic. It really is unbelievable. It's even better than the Rode. Then you can also go ahead and use wireless mics. They're pretty impressive, and I've used DJI, I've used lavalier mics, I've used all sorts of stuff, and this particular brand I really stand by. I've sold all my other wireless mics and I've gone with Hollyland. Hollyland makes the Lark M2, and they've got the new one now, I think the M3. Stunning wireless mics. It's got a little carry case which is USB-C charging in the back. It's got a transmitter receiver that you can pull out and use that for cameras. Okay, it has two microphones, each well over 12 hours each, and what you do is you can pull this one out and you can pop the microphone onto your shirt or whatever, click it on, it's magnetic, it just sits there and it's busy, you know, flicking around, doing what it needs to do. And all you got to do is you got to get the contraption, the little adapter for it, and it comes with the package anyway, so you don't have to pay anything extra. And I've got a little adapter for lightning, I've got one for USB-C, and I've got a few others. And this over here, you just plug it into your computer and then ta-da, you got yourself a wireless mic. And the great thing is this will last for sort of 12 hours, right? So the idea is that once this is died, that's cool, you know, you just pop it in, it's magnetic, you pop it in, let it charge in the case, and you just pull the other one out. I use this when I travel all the time. It's my favorite mic. When I'm traveling, it does exactly what I need it to do. I don't have to carry any cables. I don't have to connect anything to it. I don't need a tripod for it, nothing. I love it, love it, love it. And I can use it today quite easily, and it'll sound almost as good as what you're hearing right now. It's almost as good, and fantastic, fantastic microphone. Of course, then you can go crazy and you can do something that most people really, unless they really need something like this, you shouldn't do it unless you truly need it. Just like my photography gear, I use normal photography and video, really high-end professional work. I use Nikon, and I have a Nikon Z8 with a bunch of lenses, and you can see the previous video that I put online, you can see the details behind my gear. But at the same time, I also have a very personal camera for myself when I'm using for travel photography, for street photography, that kind of thing, and video. It does even 8K video, and I use the Leica Q3. And the Leica Q3 is an expensive piece of gear. It's $6,000 for a camera, but it is my secret weapon in my bag. When I do weddings and portraits and whatever, I take that with me. And when I need to do something truly incredibly creative and not having to rely on my Nikon gear, I take a small little camera out and I can do some incredible work with the Leica Q3. But because it's an expensive piece of gear, I really have to take care of that camera. This is the equivalent in microphones. This is the Teenage Engineering CM15. Stunning microphone. This is a piece of hardware that, what can I say? You can actually see the microphone. If I put it closer to the lighting here, you can actually see it on the inside. I don't know if you can actually see the shadow. I think you can right now. It's an incredible microphone and stunningly designed. Okay, absolutely stunning design. The good thing is this is great for audio, and it'll sound exactly like this. Exactly what you're hearing right now. You can get this to sound like this, and there's no need for software. It's all hardware based. It's got a little stand at the back, and you can pop it out, and it's actually great for recording instruments as well. It's phenomenal for instruments. It does USB-C, naturally straight from the mic, but also has a little adapter, and you can turn it into a mini XLR. That's huge, because you can pop it onto an audio device and you can get some incredible sounds out of this. It definitely will surpass the current mic I'm using, but this is again for travel. This is a very expensive piece of hardware. This is over £1,000 for this. This was a gift. I love it. Thank you for the person who gave it to me. You're a machine, you're a maniac, considering you gave me this. And I love using it. It's definitely going to be something I keep. It's going to be like a Leica Q3. I keep this. This is a beautiful piece of hardware. And of course, it's an overkill for YouTube videos, and I won't use it for those. I'll use it for serious professional audio work. Now, what am I currently using today as a microphone? I've been through so many mics. I even have the Shure SM7, SM7B. I've used them. They're fine, they're great, but they need a lot of gain, and I have to push them through audio devices, which can really, it's a lot of extra work and a lot of extra cabling, and I need space for that. And one of my personal favorite audio devices, I'll do a video in the future. I've got it right now sitting here, but it's not directly connected to the camera right now. I use it for Zoom calls, video calls, and Teams and stuff like that, because in that scenario I don't have to worry about sort of slowing down the audio and working on the sync speed. I can just talk immediately, and Zoom and Teams deals with the audio syncing. In this case, because I'm filming a video directly, I'd rather talk directly to the camera, so I've plugged my microphone straight into the camera. So what you're hearing right now is the pure sound out of this microphone. I'm doing nothing to my audio. I'm not running any software. It's just recording straight off the camera. And the microphone has been around for over 100 years, this microphone. And a lot of artists today, when they sing on stage, they use this microphone, and it's built like a tank. Absolutely built like a tank. It's the Shure SM58. It's the cheapest mic I have ever purchased. The cheapest mic. It's kind of crazy that my mic that I'm currently using right now, which I love, and I love it more than all the other mics actually put together, is the cheapest out of all the microphones. It's just over £60 for this mic if you pick it up used. And you can pick up a used mic, it'll not even damage. This microphone, I know it's hiding away behind this foam, but as soon as I take this foam off, sorry about the sound, that's what the mic looks like. Surprise, surprise to everybody. I'm not using anything fancy as a microphone, but my voice sounds pretty decent. I've got a decent voice. And at the end of the day, sorry about the sound again, once I pop this little foam on, it just creates that beautiful sound. and I'm doing nothing to my sound. And I tell you what, this is the cheapest setup. It is designed like a tank. This thing, you can whack it, smack it, it'll bend. You can bend the foil around it, you can drop it. It's insanely strong. It's a seriously well-designed mic because it's designed for people on stage who swing microphones around and do crazy shit like rockers. And wow, out of all the microphones, the 2 microphones that make my voice sound like this without any fancy software is this SM58, which is the cheapest mic I own, and the Teenage Engineering CM15. A very closely tied third will be the Hollyland wireless microphone, and a closely tied after that would be the Sennheiser Profile mic. But the ultimate sound is definitely coming out of this SM58, which is, strangely enough, the cheapest mic that I've ever purchased. And a lot of YouTubers like to go for the SM58 and the SM7B and the SM7 and all that. Great, but you got to put it through audio devices and you got to really boost the sound. And why? Why? Because you want to make it look good. I've put a little foam device on, and if I hadn't shown you what this mic is, you wouldn't know what it is. You would assume it would be one of the most expensive mics, but actually this microphone is the basic mic, and I use this mic for my audio work. And yes, I do audio work for companies. I record my voice and I read books, and I've done audio work for radio, and I've done audio work for animation. It's part of what I do. I've had a voice like this for years, and I won't use any of the other mics. I will use this, and I don't have any wind tunnels. I don't have any soundproofing on the walls. I really should put soundproofing. It'll sound even better, which is probably what I'm going to be doing this year. I'm going to be changing the studio and adding more soundproofing. So this blue background thing is probably going to go to brown at some point, because I'm going to use very much interesting slates that I can get, and the sound will be just ridiculous. But it's so good at sound. It's so good with the bass of my sound. I'm not adjusting my voice right now. It's so good at noise cancellation. At the moment, currently right now, I've got this person behind me downstairs. I'm right across, literally he's right here, 3-4 meters away. Outside my window, downstairs, I'm on the first floor. I'm by the beach. These guys are rebuilding the promenade here, and they are drilling like maniacs. Right now, this guy is using the big drilling machine, and he's getting grrr. That's why I'm having to talk a little louder so I can hear myself. I don't like putting headsets on. And I mean, they're drilling like maniacs. I can actually hear them right now, and they're going nuts, and you cannot hear a thing. And I'm not doing any software manipulation whatsoever. This is direct to camera connection. And the great thing is the SM58 also has a very unique little adapter that you can get from Shure. And if you don't want to use, because this is an XLR mic, it goes via XLR into the computer, or via an XLR cable into the camera, which is what I have. I've got an RCA output on my microphone output on the camera, which is a cable that has the other side an XLR output, and there's a very specific cable. It's called an unbalanced or balanced cable. I'll tell you which cable you need to get it right to make this thing work. But then if you want to turn it into a USB-C mic, you have one of these, and you plug this underneath the XLR, and then all of a sudden you've got a USB-C transmitter, and your job's done. You don't need any audio device whatsoever. This little thing, the SM Shure, or the Shure, what do they call this thing? I'll put the details in the share. But I think it's called, yeah, it's just it's the USB-C adapter, I guess. Sorry, MVX2U. My bad. MVX2U. I never know with these naming conventions. But I'll put the details in the information in the description in the video. And yeah, it's just this microphone alone, the sound, I love the depth, I love the dimension of the sound, and it makes a lot of sense to have this, and why stars love to sing with this microphone, because it's incredible sound without the fuss. So I wanted to show you my gear. It's all of it put together with the microphone comes to roughly 300 pounds. So my SM58 plus the camera and the lens and the cables and the little mini tripod that I have that's holding the microphone up, and the little mini tripod that I have on the camera, all of that put together, it's just under 300, which means it's cheaper than the best webcam you have out there, which is absolute trash compared to this camera. And I then have a camera that I can take with me, and I can do any kind of videoing I want. I can put on a gimbal and do incredible video even for weddings. quite easily. That's why I have a secondary copy, because I use it for when I'm doing sort of basic videos on a gimbal, because it's so nice and light. I love this little thing. It's tiny. And I don't need to have stabilization. It's sitting on a gimbal. Who cares? And at home, sitting on a tripod right now, I don't need stabilization. It's standing still. So who cares? It works. And the sound, this SM58, I love it. It's actually so good. I'm probably going to sell all my other microphones. That's what I'm planning to do in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to get another SM58. I've tried the other SM versions. There's some more modified ones with slightly different sort of sound, but actually this sounds better for my voice. You have to just try and see what works for you. Otherwise, I just want to show you a quick little roundup of my gear and give you that quick update. Thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you for watching. Those of you who subscribe to my channel, I much appreciate you always. Those of you who are new to my channel, a simple little click on the subscribe doesn't cost you anything. It helps with the algorithm, because then it just takes my video and shows it to people that maybe haven't seen that video yet. And it's all the support I could ever ask for. So thank you. And once again, my name is Demetrius from ObiPixel. Today, talking about the gear that I use in terms of doing video, filming my YouTube videos, doing Zoom calls, doing Teams calls, that kind of thing, without having to break the bank, and using better professional gear than webcams. Thank you, everyone. And Demetrius here, signing out.